So as you can see, we are at the MSRT facility in Dagenham. MSRT is a partner of Ford. They have very kindly offered to lend me, for 2 or 3 weeks, one of their fully loaded Ford Transit Custom MSRT edition vans. Before we get on the road back to North Yorkshire, we're going to have a little look around the facility here and ask 1 or 2 interesting questions and understand more clearly exactly what MSRT do. Follow me. So this is the van that we're going to be going home with. This is the one that we've got the use of. But before we get really into the nitty-gritty of that specific vehicle, we're going to find someone who knows everything about MSRT and, as I said, ask some questions and learn a little bit about the operation. So I'm joined by Gail. Gail is marketing manager here at MSRT, and I thought he would be the ideal candidate to answer some questions that I have. The first one being, who is MSRT and what is their relationship with Ford?
Hi Simon. So MSRT, we're a second stage vehicle manufacturer for Ford. We've been working with them for the last nearly 10 years. We're celebrating a 10th anniversary next year. And we produce special vehicle, commercial vehicles exclusive to Ford, sold at Ford dealerships across 20 countries.
Interesting. So that sounds to me like you guys are not just van conversion people. You are formally associated with Ford and work with them hand in hand. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's correct. We don't produce anything aftermarket. All our products are sold pre-registration at dealerships, so you buy them brand new. So everything that we do is homologated, crash tested, and all the standard testing that Ford would expect from their own vehicles. The vehicles form part of the official model lineup. So you buy an MSRT just like you'd buy a Transit Custom Limited or a Sport. MSRT sits at the top of that model line.
So you've got the full backing of the Ford might behind the MSRT brand.
Yeah, correct. We had a lot of input. It was a partnership designing these vehicles between us and Ford. The design team for the Transit Custom is based in Dunton, here 15 minutes up the road here. So the engineering teams and the design teams work together to come up with the design that we have today.
Interesting. So how does MSRT start its life? What do you start with? What comes into the facility here versus what exits?
So, like I said, these vehicles now form part of the model lineup within Ford. They're no longer based on another model. So in previous models, the van was based on a Limited, whereas now it's a step above Sport. So the van will arrive here with certain slave parts, such as front bumpers, which are removed. There are a number of items that are added in Ford's facilities, in Ford's own factory, such as the wheels, for example. We have exclusively blue brake calipers, which are painted in Ford's factory. So they'll arrive here with us, and we'll remove those slave parts and add the MSRT exclusive parts, such as the front bumper, the arches, spoiler, the interior.
So Ford are actually adding some of the MSRT specification before it even arrives here, but the overwhelming majority is done here by you guys.
Yeah.
Things like wheels and brakes, that's handled by Ford in their major plant, and then it's over to you guys here.
That's right, yeah. So the vast majority of the kit, if you want to call it, is done here by us, fitted by hand. But there are certain things that we've worked with Ford closely on adding those items, such as the wheels, in Ford's plant to reduce complexity, to reduce costs, and make sure that the price is right for the customer.
Interesting that you said fitted by hand, because I think we're going to get a little bit of footage of that actually happening, as much as we can.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So we know that the vans arrive here in Dagenham with 1 or 2 MSRT components already fitted by Ford. There's still quite a bit left for you guys to do here. I'm interested to know how long that takes. How long does it take to get them from your start point to the finished article ready to go to the new customer's home?
So we have a production facility that works off in stages. Each stage takes an hour and a half, and we have 5 stages, from pre-assembly to final inspection, polish, and out the door gate release to the customer. So yeah, it takes around 5 hours, 6 hours to complete the full process.
Sounds like a well-oiled machine.
It is. We're producing up to 20 vehicles a day, so we had to narrow down the processes and make sure that everything flows down nicely down the line.
20 vehicles a day, let's do the maths on that. That's 20 a day, that's 100 a week. That's, broadly speaking, 400 a month. That's the end of my mathematical capacity.
Same. But it's a lot of vehicles. We've gone from 4 vehicles a day back before COVID, and we changed the production line facilities and the way that we worked, and to get to where we are today. Like I said, the vehicles are supplied across 20 different countries, so there's a lot of demand out there for them, which is great.
I was just going to say, you've gone through some serious growth. The demand is doing nothing but going up exponentially by the looks of it.
So in 2021, we became part of the One Stop Shop program, which opened the doors for the European markets. And as of the launch from this year, the vehicles have gone from supplying to 4 markets up to 20 now. So yeah, it's great to see the growth.
World domination. So there's still quite a bit more that I want to know and understand about MSRT and what you do and how you do it, but the questions that I have going forward from now are more closely related to the van that I'm going to get to use, which I'm excited about for obvious reasons. So if it's okay with you, we'll go and find that vehicle and you can tell me exactly how it's different to other transit models.
Perfect, let's do it.
We have very kindly been granted access to the inner sanctum here at MSRT. This is the manufacturing facility. This is where the magic happens. What you can see behind me are some of the exterior components that are going to be fitted to MSRT vans. Interestingly, these all get prepped and painted by hand on site here. So this is the production line. This is where the components that you've just seen get fitted to the van. There's a number of stages, each one takes an hour and a half, and the van only moves when that stage has been completed. What's interesting is that the staff here are all capable of delivering all processes. But MSRT like each staff member to become an expert in their individual field. Now, we're going to go and see the van that I get to drive for 2 or 3 weeks and look at it in absolute minute detail. Okay, we are in the showroom and now we're going to take a look around my MSRT, only it's not strictly speaking my MSRT, is it? It's just one that you very kindly lent me for 2 or 3 weeks. So I've got a Transit Custom Limited and there are some not so subtle differences between my van and this Transit Custom MSRT, and Gil, who we were chatting to earlier, is going to give us a wander around and explain exactly what those differences are.
So starting at the front, we have a redesigned front bumper with the MSRT badge integrated here, a new redesigned front splitter, and air vent intakes there on the side. As we come around the side, we have new extended wheel arches and an exclusive 90-inch anthracite alloy wheel, and with fast blue painted calipers, which are exclusive to MSRT. As we continue down the side of the vehicle, we have a new side sill just to lower the profile of the vehicle. All MSRTs come with black painted wing mirrors and door handles just to make it give it more dynamic look. And as we come further around the back, again, extended wheel arches, and then here's where you get the centerpiece of the new design, which is a completely new rear spoiler. At the back of the vehicle, this is where things have really changed from the previous models. We have a new redesigned rear spoiler. This is actually aerodynamic efficient. It's being CFD tested and creates downforce. Here you see in the tailgate version, we also have a split spoiler for the barn doors. And as we come down below here, we have a new rear bumper with a double diffuser and a new redesigned 3/4 panel with the vertical reflector. So moving swiftly on to the interior again, this is quite different to the interior that is in my van. This is a very, very special place to be, and again Gil is going to explain exactly what MSRT do to the interiors of their vans. Our double cabin vans come with a 5-seat seat configuration. These are 2 front passenger seats finished in eco leather and suede with a completely redesigned seat back and an MSRT logo featured in the seat halo. We also have a redesigned steering wheel covered in eco leather and the 12 o'clock marker in fast blue. The back seats are also retrimmed in eco leather and suede with the MSRT flag pattern, and they are a standard bench seat, but they're just being retrimmed to match the design of the front.
So we touched briefly on the fact that this is 170 horsepower automatic. Like mine, this has got the addition of four-wheel drive. What other engines and powertrains are available in the MSRT lineup?
So in the diesel, you can have a manual 150 PS. You can also, as you said, have the 170 PS auto. We also offer the plug-in hybrid 2.5 litre petrol engine with a battery of up to 32 miles. And we also have the full EV, which has a powertrain exclusive to MSRT of 210 kilowatt or 286 PS.
286 PS?
Rear-wheel drive.
In a van. That would be exciting. Okay, before we hit the road, let's talk about colours. MSRT vans are known for being often somewhat striking. What else can you tell us about colours?
So all the MSRT vans are available in the Ford standard colours, as well as 6 SVO colours. Yellow green, as you see here, fast blue, which is a colour exclusive to MSRT and a particular favourite of mine, Turini purple, sunset orange, aquamarine blue and cadmium yellow.
I've had an absolutely fantastic morning down in Dagenham MSRT, but now it's time to take this van back to North Yorkshire. We've got a long drive. And we're off. So one of the downsides of living in rural North Yorkshire is that I have completely detached myself from city driving, which is a problem because right now I'm in Dagenham, which is just outside London, but only just outside London, which means I have to navigate my way through some pretty tricky roads. So I'm going to concentrate and I will catch up with you in the fullness of time. So we are on the open road heading due north. On face value, the MSRT feels very, very similar to my own van, which is not surprising given that broadly speaking they are the same van. This one has the same engine and gearbox, 170 horsepower, 8-speed automatic gearbox, which I'm a big, big fan of. But this one does feel a bit different. It does feel a bit more special, and I put that down to the quality of the interior. What MSRT have done to the interior is exceptional, particularly the seats. These are kind of a bucket style seat. They're extremely supportive. They just feel lovely. That's not to say the seats in my van don't feel nice, they do, but these are just a bit, they're just a bit more, they're a bit extra. Very, very nice indeed. The other thing that I've noticed whilst I've been driving is that we are getting noticed, we are getting spotted. This thing attracts attention, which suits me very nicely. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy that. But the colour, the body styling, the presence on the road, people do stop and stare. There is a measurable amount of rubbernecking going on by people as they overtake me. It's quite entertaining to watch. So we're going to continue with our journey. We're going to get this van back to the workshop and I will report back in 2 or 3 days' time once we've had a chance to get to grips with it properly. There's quite a bit more to talk about. Stay tuned. So I've had the MSRT for a week or so now, and I've been using it for work, and I've been using it as an alternative to my everyday car. And that's been interesting because on face value you think, well, it's just a van, it's just a van, it's a very fancy van, but nevertheless it's just a van. But the reality is that it is so well spec'd and so comfortable. When I've had the keys to my car in one hand and the keys to the MSRT in the other, even when I just want to go to the gym or go to the shop, I've been taking the MSRT. I thought we'd find somewhere suitable to pull over, and I'll talk to you about some of my favourite features on the outside, but also on the interior, because the interior is a very, very special place. So when MSRT reached out to me and said, which van would you like to borrow? I actively chose the double cab, the one with the seats in the back and the reduced load area, because I wanted to experience what it was like to have this configuration. I wanted to understand if I could plausibly use this type of van for the things that I do. And the answer is yes, there is ample room for my tools. Granted, some of the longer pieces of material that we have to carry, they don't fit in. But as far as tools go, the load space, the area that is available, even with the rear seats, is absolutely ample. At no point have I thought, I could do with a bit more room. That just hasn't happened. This is ideal. So what are my favourite features on the outside of the MSRT van? Well, I've surprised myself here. Let me explain. First of all, the colour. The colour of this one is called yellow-green. And initially, I thought, be brave, bowler. Get the bright one. You probably won't like it, but experience it. And I got to tell you, genuinely, and I'm smiling because I'm surprised, the colour has grown on me. I could have had a grey one, but I wanted one that showed me the shape of the van. I wanted one that really highlighted all of the additional features that come with the MSRT vans, like the body kit and the wheels and so on and so forth. That leads me conveniently onto the next thing that I very much like, which are the wheels. So these are 19-inch wheels. 19-inch wheels, much bigger than the ones that are on my van, but not so big they look ridiculous. 19-inch, it's a nice size. They look purposeful, but they're not comedy-sized 22-inch wheels that have to be run on rubber bands for tyres. And that still gives good ride quality. The fact that there's still a bit of tyre there means that it isn't trying to shake my fillings out when I'm going down the road. Okay, let's talk about the body kit. Forget about the colour for a minute. The body kit, it is bold, it is brash, it is noticeable, it attracts attention. And you know what? I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed people looking at me whilst I've been driving down the road. I've enjoyed people's heads turning. The defining feature, the one thing that I like about the body kit is this. It's on the back. The spoiler, it's not a subtle little lip. It is in your face, right there, staring at you, wrapping all the way down the sides of the rear door. And you know what? I love it, I do. I never thought I'd say that, but I genuinely, look at it, just look at it. It suits the van to an absolute T. So I have felt really positive about the way the outside of this van looks. But for me, it's all about the interior. Let me show you. So this is where a bold exterior gets to meet a decadent interior. This is where you get to be an adult. This is where you get to experience some really high-end, very carefully considered features. Okay, let's talk about these seats. So I have sat in this seat for 800 miles. 220 of those were done in one hit, all the way back from Dagenham to North Yorkshire. I got to tell you, my comfort levels were a 10 out of 10. Since I've been using this van as a daily driver, every time I've left the house, I've had a choice between the MSRT van or my car. My car is a nice car, but I've always gone for the van because the interior is such a nice place to be. The eco leather feels soft. The suede feels high-end. As a gentleman of a slightly broader than average disposition, the seats have been just so well considered. There's no pinching. Some seats that I've sat in, sporty ones particularly, they feel okay for a few minutes, but after a while you think, oh, I could just do with a bit more room. These have struck that happy medium perfectly. The steering wheel, the thing that you're touching and feeling and holding all of the time, has been recovered by MSRT in black eco leather with blue stitching to complement the rest of the interior. It's also heated. If I had my time again ordering my own van, I would spend the money on a heated steering wheel. It's been on all of the time. So you can have a bench seat and a single captain's front chair, 3 seats across the front, just like mine is. That's a fairly typical configuration for seats in the front of a van. Having experienced 2 captain's front chairs, or having witnessed the expression on my passenger's face when they sit in their own captain's front chair, my next van is going to be this configuration, particularly when the seat's in the back. Why wouldn't you have 2 captain's front chairs? The other thing you get is this very neat, very well considered centre console. Not available with a bench seat because you have to have room for people's legs. 2 captain's front chairs gives you this centre console. So I've just hopped in the back. I've left the driver's seat in the position that I've had it set. I haven't moved it forward to increase the legroom. And as you can see, I'm about 5'10" on a long day with thick socks on. There is still plenty of room for your knees and for your feet. Rear passengers would have no problem sitting in this for several hours and enjoying the MSRT interior. Hopefully you can see this. This is the MSRT Premium Audio upgrade. Essentially, it's a nightclub that resides under the back seat of the van. Now, this is a prototype. This is a feature that's coming out in 2025, and we've had the privilege of experiencing it. I got to tell you, it's loud, it's clear, it's crisp, it's sharp. Whether you're just listening to the radio, whether you're listening to the news, or whether you're blasting your ears off with some trance music from the noughties, it doesn't matter. This has put a smile on my face. It really has. So we haven't mentioned engines, gearboxes and drivetrains. This particular one is 170 PS 8-speed automatic. It is available as a fully EV, and it is also available as a petrol hybrid. This one is all-wheel drive. And what we're faced with here is a private road, a loose surface. That will never, ever get old. All-wheel drive, loads of grip, flat out, off the mark, no drama. Should we do it again? Can we do it again? Let's do it again. So when I ordered my own Transit Custom Limited, the MSRT was in the showroom. I did have a quick look, but it was never truly on my radar. Having had this for a couple of weeks, next time, well, who knows what my next van will look like. Maybe it will be an MSRT. What I'm hoping is that MSRT invite me back to have a go Ranger MSRT. That was in the showroom down in Dagenham, and it is a special looking piece of kit. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out tremendously. I'm going to carry on driving this green Transit Custom MSRT. Bye for now.